Are you struggling with your streaming setup? Streaming to YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, TikTok? Well, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and the best settings for 2025 using the Nvidia NVENC encoder, the AMF encoders, as well as the Intel QuickSync H.264, some many other tips and tricks. Hang out with me. Let's get into it. All right, we're going to dive into OBS here in just a minute, and I'm going to go over the best settings that I've found for your streams on Twitch, etc. That depends on the hardware that you have. So let's talk about the hardware. We have Nvidia that has the NVENC encoders and decoders, and that has been the leading streamers graphics card for many years. They work well with OBS, and NVENC is just the top tier. We have the AMD decoder and encoder, which is AMF. Now, AMD has struggled for many years to get close to the stream quality that you can get from NVENC, from Nvidia. But that's actually changed. That has actually changed. From a video that I've seen from a YouTuber, Eposvox, I will link his video in the description below, and it talks about the new AMD graphics cards, the Navi 4 that they have just released. Apparently, the new AMD cards, and AMD has been working with OBS as well as other partners, and now their stream quality is on par with NVENC, which is a big step for people who want to go AMD. And there's Intel QuickSync H.264. That is pretty similar to NVENC. It's better than the older AMD. So we'll go through that settings. And then you have your CPU, which is X264. You want to stay away from that unless you have a dedicated streaming PC and a pretty good processor that can handle all of the encoding and decoding while you're streaming. If you have hardware and a main graphics card, do not touch X264 whatsoever. Let's dive in. All right, now that we're in OBS, you always want to make sure you run OBS as an administrator. That's going to be your best option. Let's get into the settings here for the encoders, decoders, everything you need to know to try to get the best quality stream possible. If you are logged into Twitch, make sure you have ignore streaming service settings and recommendations checked. Click yes. Twitch says that they will only allow 6,000 kilobytes for non-partnered streamers. I have been running 8,000 with not one issue. 0 issues running 8,000 to Twitch. You just have to make sure you click and turn on the ignore streaming service setting recommendations for Twitch. If you're streaming over on YouTube, you can go up to 50,000. Granted that you have enough upload speed to do 50,000 kilobytes per second. If you're streaming on Kick, you can go up to 8,000 kilobytes. TikTok, I'm not 100% sure. On Rumble, I believe you can go up to, I think, 25, 30. They're similar to YouTube. Anyway, let's get into the settings. So this is for the NVENC encoders. You want to make sure that you are selecting your NVENC H.264. Depreciated, we do not want to use. Make sure it is the NVENC H.264. We want to have a bit rate of 8,000. That's what we're going to be going to Twitch. Keyframes, you want to set to 2. Make sure you set your preset quality to P7. Now, if you are lagging during your stream, you can always try P6 and P5 and P4 and just pick you got slower, good quality, medium quality. If you're lagging on the best quality, just play around with the different levels of P and figure out which one looks best with no lag. Always make sure you're on high quality for your tuning. 2 pass quarter resolution for your multi-pass. Make sure your profile is set too high. We want to make sure that we have the look ahead clicked off. We want to click on the adaptive quantization, and this is formerly known as psychovisual tuning. We do want to make sure we have that on, and we always want to run 2 B frames. Ignore the custom encoder options. Hit apply. Audio, just make sure you're at 44.1, stereo, all your settings here for your audio devices. In your video, your base canvas, if you're running a 1440p monitor, obviously Twitch will not allow 1440p. You have to do 1080p. So what you can do is just go to the downscaler here. Make sure you use Lanczos as your scaling filter. It is the best one and it will provide the best quality. Your FPS, you can run 60, you can run 30. If you want that nice clarity, smooth looking streams, go ahead and start with 60. We can apply that. Now, if you do want to avoid the downscaler, because the downscaler does take some effort and it does mess with quality, you can always change your base resolution to 1080p even if you're running a 1440p. You'll just have to resize every single thing in OBS as far as your overlays. If you're running overlays, your display capture, all that, you just have to resize. But that's another option. All right, for the best settings for the Intel graphics cards, whether you're streaming through OBS, Streamlabs, Meld, well, Meld doesn't have options to make any changes, so I suggest not to use that. But any other application where you can actually go in and make fine-tuning adjustments for your stream quality. What you want to do for Intel for the best quality is run the CBR rate control. Also 8,000 kilobytes per second if you're on Twitch, Kick. If you're streaming on YouTube, I suggest run the AV1 at like 10 to 15,000 kilobytes. It's going to give you a great quality. Target usage as best quality, which is the TU1, the slowest. Now, if you do get lagging with the Intel card, make sure you fine tune that. You can go to TU2 or 3, just play with that section. Profile set to high, keyframe also set to 2, latency normal, B frames set to 2, and make sure you click on the option that says subjective video enhancements. That is for the Intel card. Now for AMD, the AMF settings. Like I'd mentioned, older AMD cards, 7,000 and down, 6,000, 5,000 series, they were far behind on their quality with streaming. It just wasn't good. It was pretty much dog water compared to NVENC and Intel's QuickSync H.264. But the new 9000 series AMD cards are on the same playing field as NVENC and Intel. So, like I said, I'm going to have a video in the description below for Eposvox channel where he talks about the new AMD cards and the stream quality. So for the settings on the AMD side of streaming, make sure you select the AMD HW-H264 or AMD H264 as the encoder. On your rate control, you want to make sure that you do select the HQ CBR. And again, 8,000 with the ignore on Twitch. Make sure you have your keyframe interval set at 2 for AMD, your preset set to quality, your profile set to high, your max B frame. You can either select 1 or 2. Play around with those because AMD's a little tricky right now still if you're on older cards. But start off with 1, do a test, change the B frame to 2, run another test, see how you like it. You can also do custom options for AMD cards. I will post right up here those options that you can put into the AMF/FF options. Make sure they're typed out exactly like this before you apply it. This will also give you a lot better control and quality for the AMD cards. Well, I hope these settings may have helped you, whether you're Nvidia, Intel or an AMD graphics card. I would honestly not use X264 for any streaming unless you have a dedicated PC that has a pretty good CPU in it, because that does run off the processor. X264 can give you great quality, but we're talking about GPUs here. Most people that game and stream have dedicated graphics cards, so that's what this video is about. I do apologize that I did not have an Intel card or an AMD card to do any kind of comparisons, but I do have the best settings that I have came across and that I've seen, and I just want to share that with you so that way you guys can have a better stream quality for your channel or for your content creation or whatever the case may be. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe, hit the follow, thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment down below, that'd be great. If not, just leave an emoji, because engagement helps the channel. Appreciate you coming in. Make sure to check it out when I go live here on YouTube. Peace, much love, have a good day, and make sure to love yourself. Well, I hoped any of these settings might have helped you. I would not use, if you're using, I hoped any of, oh my God, dude.